Hey everyone, welcome to the stream.
Snapping 1, 2, where are you? Hey guys.
Oh, it's actually a song on topic today though. I'm impressed. Usually it's something random that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about. But this week you managed to be going with Armenia, which is one of the first songs we're going to be talking about when we get
Hey.
to our Eurovision song reviews.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah guys, welcome back. So once again we have a jam-packed week here. A lot of topics to cover,
Oh my
but
gosh, so much
hang
stuff.
on tight because we have a lot to say.
Yeah, a lot to say.
Yep.
I want to kind of start off with some of the events that Alicia Michelle, who is the founder of the Eurovision Fam family, that she's got some events going on that are going to be happening in Turin. So just to kind of talk about those, first there is the bar crawl, which is going to be the Saturday before. So that's May 7th. Is that Saturday? I believe you can buy tickets, links in the description to the tickets there. And it's a bar crawl. But the one we really want to talk about is the Eurovision Fam family dinner because, you know, we're a family. So with the family dinner, that will be happening the the Wednesday between the semis. And you can go ahead and get tickets for that again in the description box below. And, you know, it's a Eurovision Fam family dinner. So, you know, she's selling tickets. Go meet the mother of her family. Are you going to be going, I believe?
I am going to the family dinner. So you guys, if you have the chance to come to Turin with us, go ahead and check out the tickets for the event. It's super cool. There's actually two menus. So there's a traditional Piedmontese menu for those who eat meat, and for those pescatarians/vegetarians, there is the of the sea menu, and both of them look super good. I think the of the sea menu is about 36 euro or 36 USD whereabouts, and the Piedmontese menu is about $72, I think it was, not euro, so that has to be converted. It's going to be super fun though, and I'm really excited to go ahead and meet Alicia and all of you and talk about Eurovision over some delicious food. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. The link's in the description, you guys.
Yeah, so if you guys are going to be going to Turin and you're like, you know what, I don't know what to do between these two semis, or you're going to be in town, you don't necessarily have tickets, you can always go ahead and sign up for those tickets and, you know, enjoy a family dinner with some other fans.
Absolutely.
So now that we've gotten the kind of like biggie stuff out of the way, and involving like site announcements, we're going to talk about site articles. This week was jam-packed full of interviews from the American Song Contest.
Wonderful job from the editorial team. Like, you guys are so awesome for that.
Yeah. Editorial team knocked it out of the park. There's little snippets of each of the articles, and there's also, again, articles are in the description box. And in the description and also in the cards, we'll be putting links to Alicia Michelle's interviews that she did with all of these artists because they're over on her YouTube channel instead of here. So the interviews covered Jordan Smith, who represented Kentucky, and he's from Heat 2, right? That's it, yeah, Heat 2, the jury qualifier. Then we have Broderick Jones, who qualified out of Kansas, again from Heat 2. Loved his song. He seems like such a down-to-earth and chill person. Like, I love that interview. He's just so, like, I find him to be very relatable because he's got like an eclectic taste in music. And his sister's a Eurovision fan.
Okay, his entry actually, like, that's showcased pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, like, it's like you can tell he's got an eclectic taste in music, and listening to his song, you can hear that. And like, I love it when you hear like a musician, you go, oh, I can tell you have a wide variety of what you enjoy yourself as well.
Kansas.
Okay, then we have Brooke Alex, who was in Heat 3, and she represented New Jersey. I can't remember states, apparently. It's like, NJ, is that North Jersey? No, it's New Jersey. Oh my gosh. So she's a representative from New Jersey, and we have an interview with her as well. So you can go ahead and check that one out.
The song bumps. Like, that song is so much fun, you guys.
And the staging was so cute. Like, I love, that's
Loved
what I
it.
want. Yeah, like, that staging was super cute.
Anyways, like, if we get the chance to talk about the American Song Contest more, I can fangirl about all my favorites. But
we're gonna talk about the second heat qualifier, the third heat here later on, and then the second heat qualifiers too. The next interview we did was with Stella Cole. She is representing Georgia, and again, she seems really cool, like very chill. Like I like how young a lot of these artists are too. It's just nice to see fresh faces in music, and having an outlet for being able to see those fresh faces with the American Song Contest as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go ahead, and the big kind of article we have this week was the, oh my gosh, what was it called? Oh my gosh, who should you be watching for part 2?
Yeah.
This is the second article to go with Alicia Michelle's article that was released a month ago about artists to watch for when it comes to Eurovision 2022. And do you want to talk some more about that article, Jordan?
Yeah, so Alicia with her articles here highlights that the ones that we anticipate to do well for the contest might not necessarily be the ones who have kind of like the iconic performances carrying them further away. So like the ones that could possibly have a good result just by being unique and having kind of like memorable lasting power.
Yeah.
And with those, she contends that Israel might have a shot of standing out, as well as Moldova, San Marino, and a couple other countries that you wouldn't necessarily think with their entries would be able to have that strong of a grip on a potential spot for the finals. So go ahead and check that out. It's a very poignant discussion that typically we have at this point during the season, but Alicia has just so awesomely written it down and concisely just kind of elaborated how entries like these would be able to be highlighted. So go ahead and check that out. It's super compelling.
Yeah, exactly. So again, description box is where you're going to find the links to all of our site articles. I've got all kinds of things in there. So site articles, tickets for the pub crawl, and for the family dinner are all in that description box below. So now that we've gone ahead and discussed our site articles, let's hop into Heat 3 of the American Song Contest. In this third heat, the following countries competed. 1 second. Click here. Yeah, so in this heat, the following countries competed. States, oh my gosh. Gotta get into the mindset of saying state instead. Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, New Jersey, Alabama, Florida, Alaska, South Carolina, Delaware, the Northern Mariana Islands, and Colorado. Do you kind of want to talk about who some of your favorites were, like the ones that stood out to you as far as performances go?
Yes. So, really quickly, I just want to say the fact that the Northern Marianas got representation and territories in general. I probably say this every stream, but it's so wonderful that we get something like that. I mean, did I like the song from the Northern Marianas? No, but I really enjoy the fact that they're able to showcase the personality of the singers that well represents the place that they come from. Northern Marianas, no exception. Sabu, thank you for representing your territory very well. You did better than most states, in my opinion. Yeah. But going into ones that stood out to me the most, I really, really like the song from Florida. I'll be honest, Flirt is just fun. It's I mean, like, Bjorkman, please, anything that's reggaeton, anything that's Spanish, or even just like says Spanish in the next room, stop staging it with that same fuchsia, that same pink. Like, it that is exhausting, but loved the song. I adored the song. I will definitely continue to be streaming it. 17 by Tyler Braden from Tennessee, that was also excellent in my opinion. And Brooke Alex from New Jersey, I Don't Take Pictures Anymore. It was fun, it was poppy, it was even kind of a little voguey. It was just altogether pretty well a well put together pop song. But those three, I would say, were the ones that stood out to me in this heat. How about you?
I'm going to agree with you when it comes to Tennessee. I totally get that one being the jury qualifier. It was the song that felt the most authentic to me. And I'm thinking I'm seeing that as a trend with the jury qualifiers, like going between each of the heats so far. Like, they want to go for something very singer-songwriter-y, and we're getting that with the jury qualifiers. as far as songs that stood out to me go, like the thing with this heat is every song made me think of a different song. You know what I mean? Like it's like I can see where inspirations were, maybe, possibly, or maybe just, completely coincidental, but like every song made me think of something else, either visually or when I heard it. Like for example, you said Northern Marianas Islands. It made me think of the song Place to Be, by, I think it's by Nick Drake, I believe is the singer of it. It's like this, Nick Drake. It's this song that's like this kind of like very soft, intimate, kind of like guitar song that I find to be really nice and pleasant, but like something about that one really made me think of that specifically, but like with some tweaks. Like there was some changes in the instrumentation that didn't make it like seem like a complete carbon copy, but it's just one of those ones, like that one to me specifically triggered that thought in my head, and that's probably like a song that's not super well known at all. And then
I don't even recognize my name, so yeah.
Like Louisiana, for example, made me think of Delta Ray, who are like, I think I've brought them up like 3 times now in streams and stuff, and especially when we're talking about Poland. But like with Louisiana, that song was giving me like gothic romance pop, which I'm into as an idea. I do like a gothic romance
on a Sunday.
You know what? It was kind of on a Sunday-y, but not like super on a Sunday-y.
No. That is not the main characteristic of it. You described it better. It's just that, like, if I had to describe it to a Eurovision entry, that would, first off the top of my head, it would be Romania 2019.
Now, I am going to say with Texas, I like that one. Texas made me think of like Benjamin and Grosso. It was like very, the staging, like the way it was done was so good. Like that was some excellent stage work. Give me 1 second. I have to cough here for a moment. Bear with me.
Kelly Clarkson, you could say that your state was represented pretty well. Good for you, Kelly.
I mean, we don't know what California is going to do yet. We already saw Virginia.
We don't, and I'm terrified.
Yeah, no, Virginia was excellent. But yeah, like with Texas, it was I really liked that one. I think it was like the staging elements and like the sleekness of everything. I found that one to be very enjoyable this week. And I also really liked, that's probably the one I liked the most that's standing out to me looking over everything. Oh, Delaware. I thought she was fantastic. Like, that was a song, Train. Yeah. Like number one, she sang, like, you could clearly tell she was singing live and she sounded great. She had a lot of really good energy. And I mean, the song is me in rush hour when there's a train, like my train's stuck in the tunnel and I just want to get home because I'm tired of being out of the house. Yeah, no, that song was for that. And it's like, it's kind of funny to me, like, because you know how like Joe Biden, when he was like a senator from Delaware, he used to ride the train back to Delaware. So it's like, of course Delaware is giving us a song.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I'm going to say definitely Delaware and Texas were my 2 favorites this week.
Oh, no, yeah, I can completely get behind that, actually. And also another thing about Delaware, she had 2 completely different singing styles for 2 different parts of the song, I noticed. Like, she was, like, kind of, like, going into, like, a more raspy Katarine Duska kind of sound, and then got into, like, rock-ish belts. And I was like, bananas, like, that's just incredible. Yeah, I'm honorable mention Delaware, because holy stuff, like, that's, like, I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Like, she was great. Oh, and then we've got Georgios is here. Hi, Georgios. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, like, no, I think that those are the ones that stood out to me the most. As far as who we think is going to qualify, I don't know. I'm still a little bit at a loss there. I can see Texas getting through, and when we were watching the show, a lot of people seem to really like Alabama. Well, it wasn't my personal cup of tea.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into that one personally. But I can really see that one possibly going through as well, because it seems like a lot of people really liked it.
Yeah, people could really get behind that. And I mean, like, they had pretty good chemistry. Like,
I hope they have chemistry.
I think that might have carried it.
They're dating. I hope they have chemistry performance-wise.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
They said that they were in a relationship with each other.
And interracial was... Anyways,
Oh, goodness.
Just move on.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, we didn't say who qualified from the second heat. So in the second heat, it was North Dakota, Kansas, and Montana?
Yes. And I have a rant, actually, about the entire show, taking a look at who qualified from the second heat. Are we ready for my kind of flash rant?
Okay, go ahead.
So, you guys, you might have seen I've tweeted a couple hours ago that NBC is doing exactly what I was afraid it would do regarding the American Song Contest. And I just want to say, like, this isn't. I'm not arguing a point for the sake of saying, like, oh yeah, I'm right. I'm just kind of saying, like, this feels off. And what I think feels off is the fact that this is disproportionately like a country-ish, ballad-ish lean contest when I feel like a lot more of the up-and-coming artists in the United States are within the rap and R&B realm, more so than we see in the American Song Contest. And the songs that we see trend to do well in the American Song Contest very much have a country lean. So, to me, I mean, like, it could possibly be that NBC is more of a country demographic pandery type network. It could also be that more country singers listen to cable. But my point is, it's just if you're going to highlight the widest expanse you can of American artistry and American visionaries who have new ideas for what music could be, then you need to hone more into urban art styles. So more R&B based pop, more rap. Because that's just where we're at as a country. Like, we appreciate that a lot more than what NBC is showing us. So I just kind of wanted to make clear that this is not your, like, picture perfect portrait of what new American music is like. No, it's a lot more black, it's a lot more brown, and it's not so country forward like this, and it's not so singer-songwritery forward, or at least that's what I see, and that's what my experience has been. So that's my kind of principal rant surrounding the American Song Contest, and going into later years, I really hope that's resolved and that representation is better attested.
Yeah, I mean, I knew this is where it was going to be headed, because it's one of those things where, let's look at the demographics of who wins, like, The Voice, who wins American Idol. It tends to be people from the South who sing in a country-esque style. It's one of those things, because it's like, I think that voting block of, like, people from the South don't necessarily have the money to afford cable, so instead of watching a cable show, they'll turn on the TV and watch a show, because everyone has NBC. You know what I mean? Anyone can get NBC. So because of the fact that anyone can afford it, if you don't have money, you can still sit down and you can watch that. Like, you might not have money for internet, but you have money because it's free to buy it. But you have enough money to get a TV set and watch NBC. So because of that, I do think that shows that our singing competitions are going to skew more country with qualifiers and skew more country with people who watch those, like, that thing. It's one of those things where, like, I know from my personal experience and my family background, my mother's family is from rural America, small town. They only listen to country music, like, literally. And I have cousins who are like 30, the same age as me. I have a cousin who's like 2 months younger than me, and I have her sister as well, who's, you know, a few years younger than us, and the two of them basically only listen to country music, as do their parents. And so I know, like, I think that's a part of it, is like, I kind of understand tapping into that rural market, because I know they also they can't afford cable, so they basically only have TV you see, like, the basic package of TV that you would get. So I can see why this is happening, but I feel like as jurors, you should be able to transcend that. Like, the fact that it's the jury doing it, I don't know. Like, I can't tell you what's going on with that. Other than, I don't know if maybe they're, like, afraid if they choose to send songs that aren't country, it's going to make the viewers who are most likely watching the show not want to watch the show, if that makes sense. But I understand where you're coming from, and I don't like the fact that we're seeing so much country coming through constantly, especially when, like, a lot of it isn't, like, I am very picky with my country music. I do like the genre, but I prefer, like, country music from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, where it was very much more radical and what it was bringing to us. Like, think about it, like, everyone knows, oh my gosh, Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't remember his name for a second. Johnny Cash is a very radical performer. Like, if you think about it, he talked about prison reform consistently. and that's a very like leftist thing that country artists nowadays are not going to necessarily lean towards, and like a lot of country listeners necessarily lean towards and like want to hear. Or like Willie Nelson as well is very radical. So like when you're thinking of these performers, like I prefer older country music because older country music to me had more of a grasp on things that are above and beyond just partying and whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that with the automatic qualifiers because Houston's song is not country. It's very singer-songwritery, acoustic, male guitar, introverted, and I thought it was beautiful. Like the way that ballad is, that's
gorgeous, ballad. Absolutely, yeah.
Like with 17, I'm not saying that one's necessarily party either. It's very singer-songwritery. I also think like in the US, a lot of people want to focus on singer-songwriter because they feel like if a song is a singer-songwriter-esque song, it's better art. It's like this kind of like, if you think about it, because think about how many people are dismissive of pop music because teenage girls like pop music, so I can't like pop music. You know what I mean?
I see. So I do see the sentiment here. I
see where they're coming from, I believe, and it's just one of those things where it's like I don't know if it's like rooted in necessarily like I can see it being a little bit of racism and a lot of misogyny. Those two things combining.
I mean, yes. I mean, so far it isn't like explicitly like yeah, that's the thing, but we're definitely getting hints of that. We're definitely getting hints.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know if I'm being hyper vigilant of this sort of stuff, because I hang out on like very far left leaning circles politically, but it's something I noticed as well, and I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. What's happening exactly? So I would like to see less of that occurring. With the jury specifically, because you can't stop the public from wanting to vote for country music if your main demographic and the people who are going to be watching your show are going to be those voters from the South, like rural Southern America or rural America, because my family's not even from the South, but they only listen to country music, and they kind of find anything that's not country to be a little more challenging to listen to. So yeah, that's just kind of what I'm seeing from that aspect there.
Kind of like my last point regarding that, and it ties back to one of the first critiques I had about this contest. I noticed that with the kind of like spectrum we're getting of country to singer-songwriter and everything in between there, it being a very white lean on top of a very male lean is also, like, we have to take a look at the fact that the stagings for all of these songs within this category have been incredibly diverse. The three reggaeton / Hispanic type stagings, songs that we all got the same shade of fuchsia.
Yeah.
Like that should be alarming to everybody, how the three songs that could be made similar just by ethnic heritage or language were given literally the same color and the same staging concept. Meanwhile, all of these country songs, all of these singer-songwriter type songs were given more artistic liberty. Like, that is not cool. It's not cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with that statement completely. It's like give it more visual diversity, so everything's not kind of bleeding into each other with what you're seeing on the screen. But from that kind of heavy topicing, let's go ahead and let's move on over to just kind of talking about the pre-parties that happened this week.
Pre-party!
We're going to start off with the London pre-party, which was on Sunday. With that one, I don't have the full list of everyone in front of me who was there. Do you have it pulled up?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the London pre-party, the ones who performed were Ireland, Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Poland, Lithuania, Croatia, Latvia, Germany, Belgium, Romania, Malta, the UK, Spain, Estonia, Austria, North Macedonia, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. So it was a big party, you guys.
Oh yeah, it was a huge party. And were there any performances that stood out to you, either negatively or positively?
Either negatively or positively. So I'm gonna keep the London pre-party pretty positive because it was kind of like a more intimate space. Kind of just felt like we could be a bit more goofy and loose with it. So I'm not gonna be critical. But the ones that stood out personally to me, I would say maybe third place I would give to Chanel Terrero, because once again, like,
I have no worries about Spain. Chanel, she can do that choreography in her sleep at this point.
She will always be in a top 3 list no matter what the list is.
Exactly. No worries about Chanel. Chanel knows what she's doing. I trust Chanel. I believe in Chanel.
Yeah. Me too.
And I'm not concerned at all with her, frankly. I hated her shoes. I actually made that's a note I made. I was like, everything about Chanel's performance I loved except for those shoes. I hated those shoes so much.
I still don't know how I feel about them.
They're disgusting. I do not like those shoes. Like, I don't like a peep toe. A peep toe, like, it's like a peep toe booty. What is the point? Your toes are going to be cold, but your ankles are going to be warm? No. Like, I did not like the shoes. Yeah.
The other ones that I would highlight are, well, I mean, Lithuania, because once again, just like Chanel, flawless.
Yeah.
But also, my number one that is going to be, I'm probably going to get fought for this, Croatia. Why is nobody looking at Mia? How well she performs this. I mean, this was like, I feel like London was the perfect kind of venue to hear Mia's song. Y'all gotta get on the train. Get on the train now. That's all I gotta say.
I swear. Here's what it is. I like Croatia's song a lot, but it's not a song that is competitive, I think.
Shut up.
That's the thing. Is like, it's a good song, but like in a lineup of a bunch of different musicians performing, like, you have to be in the mood for that, and it's just like not gonna necessarily. You know what? I know you love Croatia. I know you love Croatia. I know it's your favorite. I understand it's your favorite.
It's not my favorite, but it's the one that I will defend out of all of them.
Okay. I mean, I think it's good. I just don't know, like, it's not. Also, like, it's a party. Like, I feel like pre-party is always kind of let down ballads. Our pre-parties always let down songs that are kind of down-tempo. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of like the thing with pre-parties. It's just gonna not be the best space for those, like, for that kind of song.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I understand that. But it's just, I mean, like, this is the Eurovision parties, though. We gotta be ready to go from Give That Wolf a Banana to Breathe, if need be.
I mean, yeah, that's a transition. But yeah, no, I same kind of, like, Monica always stands out to me. I adore what she does.
She's like Bobby, not a single bad performance, not a single bad vocal.
No, like,
every single time.
Perfection each and every time. I think that, like, yeah, that one stood out to me positively. Cornelia, fantastic. Again, she's always great.
Oh, yeah. Always. Poland
is starting to grow on me a little bit.
It was so, like, a High School Musical audition.
It is. No. Like, it's starting to. There's something, like, just his voice is so good. The song itself, I'm still not big on, but his voice, I'm starting to see why people might like it a lot. It still feels like I'm trying to be, like, it still sounds like a song that's a car commercial, but I think that, you know, it's just something about his voice I really do enjoy. Latvia, they've grown on me dramatically. Yeah. They're just, I thought at this point it's 100% them. It's 100% the guys in CD Sunny. They just seem like a lot of chaotic fun. Sometimes they're a little too chaotic fun, but, like, I don't know.
But I mean, like, they are giving us kind of the same, like, male fun, like, up-tempo energy that, like, the guys from Alcohol is Free gave us. Kind of a vibe. It's just that, like, a bunch of guys being goofy, which I can appreciate.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so, yeah, like, with them, I totally get it. Let's go ahead.
Denmark made me want to... Anyway. Denmark made me want to just quit watching.
Where was the guitarist not there?
I don't. Oh my god, was there someone missing? I don't know.
Only 3 of them were there.
Wait, are there 4 of them?
There's 4 people in the band.
I didn't even notice, but anyways, like, that one stood out to me because of just how much I didn't even realize I could dislike it.
Wow, I thought I was mean towards Denmark. Wow.
No,
this is a whole new side of you. Let's go ahead. Did you have anyone else you wanted to bring up for London?
No, not for practicality's sake. I wasn't really surprised by anybody else.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to talking about Israel calling, because that was last night, and I've got lots of notes because I do for Israel's calling.
Israel.
First thing, Georgios Papadopoulos up in our comments like usual. I watched the Israel's calling live stream last night on TV. Yeah. I want to start off by saying that host, awful. Like, anybody who was, just remember, she was the runner-up in 2019 to represent Israel at Eurovision.
See, that's how memorable she actually is. Like, taking away Israel calling, that's the type of memory that she carries forward. That's it.
I'm just saying,
that was rude. It was clumsy. It wasn't.
It's a character. It's like,
I don't know if it was but the shtick was so dry. Like, it was just not pleasant. Like, it was just unpleasant. Is how I would describe that entire experience.
Exactly. It's like it's a character. Like Sylvia Knight's character is also the same kind of obnoxious and rude sort of a caricature, but I can excuse it with Sylvia Knight because Sylvia Knight's actually funny
and iconic, and everything about her is iconic. But you cannot say the same about.
Oh my god, I just want to. And like people, like there's too much swearing. I'm like, I'm okay with swearing if you're funny. It was very Amy Schumer.
There we go.
That was
there. We go.
That was the comedian it was giving me was Amy Schumer. I don't like Amy Schumer. I can't stand Amy Schumer. If you're reminding me of Amy Schumer, that's a problem. Yeah, so I just wanted to start off because I found like I was watching it live. I wish I wasn't watching it live so I could skip over those parts. But we did have quite a few artists perform.
Do you have the list? Because I don't have it with me here.
I have most of it, I feel like. I'm missing maybe one or two. Ireland, Montenegro, Romania, the Czech Republic, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, Moldova, Armenia, Malta, Germany, Latvia, Lithuania, Ukraine, Croatia, France, Georgia, Australia, Serbia, and Austria. I think that's everyone. My stream died partway through, and I had to go find a new stream, so I did miss a couple of performances live. I kind of just want to talk about Austria to start off. Like, I want to talk about specifically Austria, Armenia, and Georgia, because those are the three that were there that we. Those are the three that were there we haven't heard live yet.
Until one special moment.
Well, we heard Austria live at London, but London's different.
But I mean, like with raw, like vocals, without using playback as like a cushion. That for sure was apparent with this.
I don't know if it's nerves because maybe she's young. This is like her first time in a big crowd. But I would like to see her get over those nerves before Eurovision. And it's a challenging song to sing with the high notes and the speed that the song is in. It is a difficult. Like you don't hear people sing live dance songs very often. Like this genre, we don't really hear live. So I would, if everything comes together by May, I'm happy for you. But at this point, it's making me worried. I have Austria down as a qualifier right now, and then because when we did our reviews earlier, we both chose Austria as a qualifier. And I'm looking at that I don't necessarily think that that's going to be happening anymore. Yeah.
And I'm on the same page there. I mean, part of it could be that she's such a new artist, so having such a difficult song, it's a very, very, very tall order, even for someone who's really practiced. I admire the fact that she's still willing to go forward with this and just sing the song and give it her all. That's what should be done no matter the scenario. But it outruns her. The song outruns her, and it's kind of apparent, especially with the live that we got then, because Homegirl had no diaphragm support when it came to just how she moved around and keeping the vocal steady.
Maybe sing as you run on the treadmill or something. I've heard that that's something people I know when I used to do costume work for musical theater, there would be like the one girl who usually got the lead role in all the musicals. She used to do that, for example. Is like she kind of rock on a treadmill and sing. And then when you're doing choreo, she would sing as she would do her choreography, and not just block it out. Just kind of helping her with being able to move around and perform, like move around and sing at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, like I want to be surprised come May.
Me too.
I want to be pleasantly surprised in May that she got it, and I'll be very happy and cheer for her at that point. But right now, I'm worried about Austria. I really am worried about them qualifying. And
it's kind of face down in the water right now.
It'd be the third time in a row they didn't qualify, and I do like the fact that it seems like Austria is kind of going for younger artists like every other year. Mm-hmm. I do like seeing that from the Austrian delegation as their tactic for Eurovision.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one I wanted to bring up was Georgia. This is the first time we've gotten Lock Me In live. And, we're going to talk about Georgia more later, but with this live performance, I'm kind of excited to see what it's going to look like in May. Was it the best vocally? No. But it was already visually interesting with just the backdrop that they chose.
I was drawn in. And I stayed drawn in for the whole thing. Which doesn't, I didn't think it would make sense for this song because, it could arguably be that the song is, one note every now and then. But still, I mean, it was just the quality of the way they performed it,
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And then I wanted to just talk about Armenia because that's one that we'll talk about a couple other here maybe. When it comes to Armenia, first time we've gotten it live, she sounded great. This song's really been growing on me this last couple of weeks. But yeah, she sounded great live. I'm like, okay, maybe Armenia's going to qualify. I kind of wrote them off as qualifiers, and now I'm like, you know what? You guys, you're selling me. You're selling me, Rosa Linn. You're selling me on this.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just taking a look here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of piggybacking off what you said about Armenia. That was one of my favorite songs performed in Israel, you guys. She needs so little. I loved her styling, first of all, just the kind of patchwork look. I adore that.
I want that outfit. I want that.
I love it. It's so avant-garde for Eurovision. But the thing is, it feels avant-garde with a genre that feels 10 years dated outside of this, current era of music. This feels like something that would have been popping off in, 2012 in terms of, production and execution. But it's not just that. It's so... It has an unspoken quality about it that's just perfect, in my opinion, and ever since I heard the song, it's just continuously grown on me.
Yeah. And then it does look like with North, because we didn't know with Moldova what version we would be getting of the song, and now that we have the official CD out as well on streaming, we are going to be getting this rockier version of the song for Eurovision with Moldova.
Mm-hmm. It could help them, I think. I think it could help them.
Georgios Papadopoulos says Armenia can do it because Semi 1 is very much wide open. Yeah.
You think Semi 1's pretty open? All right.
My thing with Semi 1 is there's a lot of women singing solo. And I fear that with that, they're going to bleed together. It's one or two of them are going to get through, and not all of them are going to get through. And that's my biggest thing is it's just with that stack, because there are so many people in that sort of genre, it's going to make it more challenging for everyone to make it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is us talking about Israel calling in the pre-parties. We're going to go ahead and move into talking about rankings. So this is kind of where we stand right now with our rankings. Let me pull that up. Transition. Yay. Okay, there it is. So it's just going to have my Photoshop pulled up. So hi. So far, in Semi 1, Jordan's qualifiers are the Netherlands, Austria, Lithuania, Moldova, and Norway. Okay. And it's now saying the stream is reconnected. Are we reconnected?
If you guys are still around on the stream, go ahead and like leave us a comment to see if we still have you.
Yeah, it reconnected. It dropped. I'm not sure. It's gonna probably be two
Okay.
different videos that end up
Right.
happening here. Okay, well, it's back. Hi. Sorry. If
Hey
you're
guys.
still there, hello. So yeah, those are our. I'm not sure what cut off. So, you can see on the screen who our qualifiers are so far. Again, for Jordan, Netherlands, Austria, Lithuania, Moldova, Norway. For me, Netherlands, Austria, Lithuania, Moldova, Norway, and Denmark are my current qualifiers. Okay, cool. We're back. Um, and then we're gonna go ahead and look at Semi 2. So far in Semi 2, the qualifiers we both have are the Czech Republic, Ireland, Estonia, Poland, Australia, Sweden, and Finland. So you and I agree on all of the Semi 2 qualifiers thus far.
Yeah.
And there's only really like 3 slots open. At this point, though, I am worried about 2 of the ones we locked in early.
Which ones?
Czech Republic and Ireland.
Yes.
I'm concerned about them. I really am. And then we have somebody C, Nadir, Kylene, Ernest. Austria and the odds just had a free fall. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. After the week that we've had vocally from Pia Maria, it's not surprising that Austria has gone down in the odds. Again, I would like to be pleasantly surprised come May. I really
absolutely would. Yeah. That'd be great.
And then just to go over who we think the big five, where the big five are. Jordan thinks that UK is going to be left side of the scoreboard and Germany is going to be the right side. I think both the UK and Germany are going to be on the right side. And that's just where we are so far. And we're going to go ahead now and go into talking about these songs that are going to be competing this week. So do you want to just go over our criteria real quick?
Yeah, so just a reminder about how we analyze the songs, you guys. The first thing we take a look at is the lyrical content of the song. So what do we think about the verbiage used? How well do we think it's executed? Production and genre would be the second category. And in that category, we basically talk about things that are used kind of like in the mixing, in the production, in the mastering, and genre. So like how well how well were they able to project the genre. Unique elements is item number 3, and that basically says, is there anything to set the song apart from songs that would be similar to it in the lineup? And funnily enough, not every song has unique elements that we can hone in on. But another thing too is how well can it be performed live? That is point number 4. We got answers to those questions, a lot of answers to those questions with Israel Calling and the London Pre-Party. We're going to talk about that. Would we stream the song? This is just kind of like a personal yes or no to see like how we as consumers received this song. And the last thing we look over is, would the song qualify for the final, which is something that we've kind of just been discussing in length like as the streams have gone on. But those are the criteria we talk about for the songs, and today we're going to be talking about Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Israel, Ukraine, and France.
Yeah. So those are our 6. We have one less than usual that we're going to be discussing this week. Let's go ahead and hop off with Armenia, I believe. Yeah, Armenia's first. So how do you feel about the lyrical content of Armenia?
It's simple poetry, but it's poetry nonetheless. I really enjoy it. It's not trying too hard to be like a ton of other things. Like the lyrics are easy to follow. They're super simple English so that everyone can like sing along to it. It complements the production quite well. I really have no complaints about the lyrics. Even the word snap, like I imagine it would be kind of like an upbeat pop song, kind of like the Irish entry.
Yeah.
We didn't get that, but I'm not mad that we didn't get that because of how the lyrics were executed in the length of the song.
It's very twee to me. Like this is very much like of that hipster situation we had in the late '80s, but it's coming back. So you said it sounds dated. I'm starting to see more and more kids into that hipstery sort of thing, especially on TikTok. I've been seeing more kids kind of getting nostalgic for that time period that they weren't necessarily a part of. And so I think because of that, I can kind of see where this is not necessarily dated. It's more like a throwback to that sort of time period. I'm just happy she doesn't have a ukulele. I'm glad it's a guitar. If it was a ukulele, it would be over for me. I cannot stand.
This isn't the territory in the Pacific Islands that the U.S. has like decided is going to be in the American Song Contest. No, don't worry, we're not going to get Ukulele Boy.
Good. I don't like people playing ukulele unless they are from the Pacific Islands. I have a whole thing about
it. I despise it as a Pacific Islander. It's my least favorite instrument, and it's my least favorite.
I don't mind it. I'm only okay with it if it's a Pacific Islander playing ukulele. Other than that, do not touch it. Do not touch a ukulele. So, kind of like tying production in with lyrical content. This is very much that kind of like campfire, let's sit around and play guitar kind of a song. Mm-hmm. But it's a breakup song. And it's like, I like that it's lyrically talking about how you're having trouble getting over the person you were in a relationship with, rather than it being a bold statement of, I'm glad I'm done with you. You know what I mean? It's like, instead of being like, oh, my life is going to be so much better without you, it's still that lingering thought of like, okay, we're no longer together. And I'm kind of like not over you yet, and it's making me upset that I haven't been able to get over you. And people are saying, oh, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy to get over that person you broke up with, and it's not. And I do really like that that's what we're getting, because it's not a emotion we see often explored in music.
Or in Eurovision, or with this kind of performance style.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where that's refreshing to get that take on it. It's very well produced. I believe Rosa Linn is also a producer, so good job with your production work, girl.
Amazing, amazing.
It's an acoustic guitar song. It's an acoustic guitar song that's well produced. There's no notes I have negative or positive about it. It does what it needs to do. I mean, saying it's good, it's well produced, I suppose is positive, but there's nothing about the production that stands out dramatically for me. And there's not really any unique elements other than the fact that this is like a refreshing take on a relationship that's now ended that we don't necessarily get very often.
I agree. I would argue that is also the unique element of
yeah. And this, like I said before, I really am finding myself liking Armenia more and more. It's grown on me so much. Like, I wasn't a big fan of it when it was first released, but in like the last week or two, I've really started to be like, yeah, 1, 2, you know what I mean? Singing along with it and have like a little clapping time. Like, yeah, this is enjoyable. So I would say that it is a song that I would stream because of that. And we now know it can be performed live. We did talk about it earlier, but now that we're in this section specifically, she sounds perfect live.
Incredible. Like, you guys, it was perfect.
Yeah, it was absolute perfection live. It sounded like she might as well have been in the studio. Mm-hmm. And like the styling with like the baggy, colorful outfit, I really did enjoy. I want that outfit. In fact, I know a designer who makes stuff like that, and I was like, I went to their website to see if they had anything in stock. They didn't. That was like from their fall collection.
Impact.
I know. I was like, I want that because I had like there's a pair of patchwork like pants I was really looking at with a matching jacket, but like that was their fall collection, and I'm like, crap, I should have bought it in fall, and then I could match. But yeah, like, I thought that was excellent. And like, yeah, it's really grown on me dramatically. I don't skip it anymore. I do find myself listening to it and singing along to it when it's on. How about you? Do you wanna? Oh, you too. I'm sorry. Okay.
I completely stream it. I don't think I've ever skipped it, and I'm happy that I haven't ever skipped it. I mean, like, you could tell I'm kind of on a singer-songwriter kind of like binge right now because of Croatia being so high in my ranking, but this is also a case of like, it's just like a warm cup of tea. I love this song. It's just so soft and simple, and it's like it can always just be there with me.
Yeah. Now it comes down to the will we think it will qualify question.
It's hard, but with that live performance, she has a fighting chance.
Yeah, like if it was not if we didn't have that live from last night, I'd be like, no way. At this point, I'm thinking no still. Like I'm leaning towards a no. But with like the other things that have been happening with the other artists, not Simi, I think that she's rising up. So she does have a chance to qualify at this point. So I'm going to still say no for now. But we'll like redo our rankings and everything, I think, later on. Yeah. Right before we get to the actual show.
I'm going to give it a conditional yes.
Okay, so you're going to say conditional yes. I'm going to say conditional no right now. Okay. But like, yeah, it's one of the, and the thing is like, we have to remember with these rankings, when we're saying yes or no, if we think something's going to qualify or not, it's not our personal taste. It's what we think is going to happen, given the history and how Eurovision tends to go. So from Armenia, we are going to go over to Azerbaijan and talk about the song. Oh, we didn't say it was Rosalind with Snap was Armenia's song. Azerbaijan's song is Fade to Black by, what is his name? Oh my gosh.
Nadir Rustamli.
Thank you. Nadir Rustamli with the song Fade to Black is Azerbaijan. Do you want to start off with lyrical content?
Yeah, the lyrics, I mean, they kind of strike me as like your average sad Eurovision song lyrics, if that makes sense. There's like some kind of genericness in just the fact that like it's like almost feels like every other line is supposed to be like the saddest line, or like the line that like shocks you in a sense. But like the thing is, when you have all the lines that carry that same like emotional height, it degrades the song in my opinion. And yeah, it kind of just causes it to feel like this is a sad Eurovision song in a stereotypical sense even.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, like, I'm looking at the lyrics right now. It's like, it doesn't really have much lyrical devices. It's like when you first learn how to write poetry in elementary school as an assignment. You're taught, okay, this is how we write a poem. This is different motives and things we would use in the English language to make poetry work. And one of the things you can use is repetition of words. So you can use repetition to build up a rhythm. And that's the only device we're seeing used here, really.
Yeah, and you're right. This feels like you just learned in school how to construct poetry. He followed those guidelines, I want to say, like maybe junior year in high school, and then got a B-.
Yeah, it's like, because I'm like, they keep this a line about blaming the weather that we hear a lot. I'm just like, what is that? Like, that's like, I guess that's like, oh, I'm not feeling like, oh, well, what's wrong with you? Oh, it's the weather. You know, like that. Like, I guess that's what he's going for. Because I know I've been there before. I'm like, oh, the weather is bad, so I don't feel good.
But does it cause you to fade to black?
No, but it gives me a migraine. And when I get migraines, I can't see. So
oh no.
I don't have black. I have tunnel vision, so like the edges of my sight. Maybe it's a song about dating a woman with a migraine. We don't know. It might be that.
Maybe.
It might be about that. Yeah. That and like this is like, and the repeating of the word numb. It's a lot of very basic lyrical content, very basic poetry as far as lyrical content goes.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will say about Azerbaijan is they always have good production.
Always, yeah.
They don't have bad production. And like the instrumental on this is actually really nice. I do like how the piano is kind of our starting point. We're building up to more instrumentation as the song goes on. But with the lyrical content we're getting, it doesn't reward what we're getting with the instrumental. Like, it's a better instrumental than it is as a song, as a full package.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I will say this, though, he can sing. Excellent vocal. And I haven't heard him sing this one live, but I've heard him sing other songs live because he just won, what was it, The Voice in Azerbaijan?
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, with that, he can sing. He's a good vocalist, and we know he can sing consistently as well. I just don't know how well he can sing this song, and the vocal's the best thing about this song.
Yeah, I agree with that one completely.
Yeah. As far as, like, are there any unique elements that stand out to you with this one?
For me, no.
Okay, for me, there is one, and that is, I feel like Azerbaijan has this, like, traditional instrument I don't know the name of, that they put on songs that they send to Eurovision to make the song sound more Azeri instead of something they bought from Sweden. They bought this from Sweden. But, you know what I mean? Like, kind of, it's how they add their little flavor. And I guess that's
have a heavier hand with the seasoning. I mean, at least Truth by Chingiz had a heavier hand, even though that was clearly Swedish.
Yeah, like, it's like, maybe more of that would be an interesting thing to add.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, let me just see here. Next section is, can it be performed live? I don't know if this can be, but I know he can sing live.
Yeah, Nadir can perform live. I don't necessarily have a doubt about this song. I feel like it's going to go pretty okay with his performance.
Now, would you stream it?
No.
Same.
No.
No. The answer is no.
Mhm.
And then it is, the next one is, do we think it's going to qualify?
No.
No. There are 3 songs very similar from that semi, and he is the weakest one out of them.
This is sad man in sad man semi, just like we have sad women in sad women semi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to read a comment here, a couple of comments from Georgios Papadopoulos. Azerbaijan seems like seems mediocre in the beginning, but I enjoy the ending a lot. See, I like the instrumentation. The instrumental is excellent. It's just
Yes.
like everything else drags it down. So yeah, that's one of the things I did notice about the song when I sat there and listened to it with a really critical ear, is that I did like the production work and I did like the instrumental section, because it has a good build. It has a dramatic build. There's a lot happening. And the song, like the instrumental itself, is telling a story. So when I listen to music, if I can listen to your instrumental and I can get a story from that without any kind of vocal, I do take that as a positive thing in your songwriting. However, when you layer the vocal with the instrumental, because Eurovision, we don't do instrumentals. It's a vocal song that has to be included in it. I'm getting drawn back from that because the lyrical content not really matching that same energy.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, like, I feel like my biggest thing with Azerbaijan at Eurovision is they get performers who are good, solid performers, and they give them songs that the performers don't really connect with, I feel like. They give them something, it's like they hand them, like, okay, here's what you're going to sing. There you go. Enjoy that. And it doesn't really feel personal to the artist. And when it comes to Eurovision and the way Eurovision has been heading in the last 5 years or so, I'm going to actually 5 or 6 years, we're going to go 6 years. In the last 6 years, the way Eurovision has been heading, you need to have that personal connection with what you're singing and have that feeling of authenticity to you specifically to do well. And I'm not getting that with this one at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, like, we do know what, like, and Giorgio says, I was disappointed because we know what Azerbaijan can do. Here's the thing. I think this is consistent with what Azerbaijan has been doing for a long time. But in the last couple of years, ever since they didn't qualify with ISL, it's been starting, and other people are starting to see it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the song they had that was the most authentic to the artist that they had was Skeletons. It's consistent with the kind of music that Dihaj and Deanna, the singer, makes. Mm-hmm. And so it was like kind of the most authentic to them, but it didn't do as well as what Azerbaijan thought it could possibly do. So I feel like because of that, they're going back to that same method where they would have had more success. Like, if this was 2014, I would say this would qualify, but it's not 2014 anymore.
That actually, funnily enough, was the thought that crossed my mind, like, regarding this song. 2014, this would do well in 2014 specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a 2014-esque year where it's wide open. We don't know necessarily who's going to be winning.
Yeah.
Because with 2014, we didn't know who was going to win until we got to the semis. And then we're like, oh, Conchita. She's got this in the bag at this point. But prior to that, we had no idea what was happening. And this feels like a year that's going to be similar to that.
I can see that coming, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, that's my whole thing. So, yeah, that's kind of how we're feeling about Azerbaijan. Let's go ahead and move over to Georgia. So, Georgia is sending Lock Me In by Circus Mircus. And do you want to talk about... do we have to talk about lyrics? There's not a point.
The lyrics could straight up be in any language at all.
Yeah. Like, lyrics do not matter. And this is one of those songs where lyrics literally do not matter. I know I just talked about how, like, with Georgia, the song, not Georgia, oh my gosh, with Azerbaijan, the lyrics kind of were disappointing and whatever. But that's because it's a ballad. If you're singing me a heartfelt ballad, your lyrics need to work for the ballad. If you're just coming at me with some, like, strange prog rock, who cares?
Work.
Like, it's about the mood and whether or not the lyrics work with the mood. For this one, it's just literally they keep saying the same sort of things over and over and over again, to the point where, like, the vocal is more like an instrument. It's not like you're not listening to the vocal as a lyrical piece. You're listening to the vocal as another instrument. So I'm going to tie that in with production here, where it's like about making a rhythm with your voice that suits what's happening with the rest of the song. It's like the same thing you get when we have these songs in made up languages that literally the lyrics mean nothing. You're using that voice in the way that was when you speak, you have certain letters and certain syllables you're going to put more of an emphasis on than ones that you don't put an emphasis on. Iambic pentameter, for example, it's got a certain rhythm to it because of the way that the lyric, the way that words are parsed out and what you emphasize and don't emphasize. So because of that, with this sort of a song, your vocal your instrument is just an additional instrument. The lyrical content doesn't necessarily matter, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense to me. And also, if we're still talking about production and genre, I really appreciate the fact that their vocal complements just the amount of electronic elements that we have here too. This is a very electronic forward song. We don't have a ton of that this year. So that I also feel like is part of what makes it unique. First of all, there are a number of things that make it unique, but going back to what you said about the voice being an instrument on its own, I feel like that you see that showcased pretty well in this song, on top of the fact that it balances out all the electronic.
Yeah, talking about production and everything here and genre, this is a prog rock song. Now, usually with prog rock, it's not it's an accessible prog rock song is how I should phrase that, because that's a genre that a lot of people don't really get, because a lot of the time the instrumental is so crazy and so intense. At Eurovision itself, we've only ever had one other prog rock song, and it came from Georgia. And in the national final season this year, Voyager's a prog rock band. And these songs sound totally different, but they're in that same kind of a genre. This is very synth heavy. I love a synth. And we're getting that coming through with the guitars and the synth, and the lead instrument on this is synth, period. So to me, this is giving me prog rock met with the vocal, which the vocal is very Britpop, like that 90s Britpop sound. So it's a unique marriage that I think really works here. And again, Georgia has given us Britpop before, because I'm pretty sure we all know who the vocalist is at this point. It's no longer a mystery. And last time, yeah, I know. Exactly. I'm sorry. Okay, so, then we have unique elements. That's all tied in production. We've really discussed that at length. Next is, can it be performed live? Yes. Now, the vocal wasn't there yesterday. In Israel, I feel like it wasn't the strongest. But I know that this singer can sing live because he's done it at Eurovision twice.
Yep.
And then when it comes to my camera lost focus. There we go. When it comes to would we stream it, my answer is yes.
Occasionally, yes. Not always, but yes.
And do you think it's going to qualify?
Oh, you're still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. Do you think it'll qualify?
Yes. Do you think it's going to qualify? Yes or no?
I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah. In the semi and in the running order, it does stand out when you listen to everything in running order.
Yeah.
And there are people that I've put through so far that I'm leaning back on. I think this is a borderline because it's Georgia. Yeah, I think it's going to qualify. And I think that we're going to get staging that is going to elevate this, because last time, same vocalist was in it with a band. I know a lot of Eurovision fans kind of wrote it off, and then we got to the live, and we're like, oh, no, this has to qualify. And the semi's on the same day, the final's on the same day as it was the last time he qualified, so he can say happy birthday to his mom again.
Happy birthday to his mother.
In May, so we're about a month ahead.
Happy birthday, Georgian woman I don't know, in a month ahead.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we're feeling about Georgia. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about Israel. And the song is I Am by Michael Ben David. So,
let's see. Where do we get started on the lyrics?
The lyrics here don't really matter. I mean, they matter, but it's like it's a self-empowerment song, but there's not really. You have to be vague with
Feel
self-empowerment
empowered.
songs.
I don't feel. I mean, yeah, I agree.
don't.
This is a self-empowerment song in the practice of the lyrics, but it's not. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't introduce anything. I'm not here for the lyrics. Like there's nothing really to it to me.
It's just words.
It's words, yeah.
It's words. Like I don't. There's nothing I can connect to here. But I also don't like that self-empowerment thing anyways. Like, self-empowerment songs have never been my thing. Except for Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, because that hit me at just the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, this is giving me...
Also, this is, like, a self-empowerment song that would have been hot, like, in 2016-ish. Mm-hmm. Like, if that... Because, like, it still has that kind of a beat drop, that kind of flavor that we were craving, like, beat drops back in the mid-2010s. But it's not even going so far as to being like, oh, reminiscent of like 2010's like beat drop heyday. It's not that good.
I wish it was.
It's not that good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anything I don't really have any much to add as far as lyrics go. How about production and genre?
This seems like if you had someone listen to Toy by Netta for the first time, and then 3 days later, we're like, hey, how did that song go again?
Oh, Lord.
and then you're like, you got 3 minutes, sing it to me. This is what would come out. It's like kind of reminiscent of Netta's production in Toy, because it has that traditional flute. It's got like a pretty solid bassy drop, and it's self-empowery. So like there's a lot of flavors of that here, but no, not flavors, more fragrances, because you smell it, you don't taste it.
I wrote the word obnoxious. I find that the production on this
Elaborate.
Too much. There's too much happening. It's like you took a song, like I did not like the original version. I thought the original version was better than this revamp.
Heinous, yeah.
It's like I don't like either version. With this revamp, it's like, oh, we need to add more to it. Throw this in. Throw a horn. Throw a woman making a traditional vocal sound in the background. It's like, yeah.
Throw stiff choreography in.
Just throw everything in it. Throw it all in. Yeah, that's going to be great. It's like, it's too much. I don't mind a song that has a lot of elements to it, because I don't mind songs that mix genre, but like have a purpose with it. And it doesn't really feel like there's a purpose here other than we wanted to add more to the track.
Yeah, that literally is it. They just made it more crowded. Period.
The vocal's great.
Well, I mean, yeah, he can perform.
Michael Ben David can sing.
Every time. Mm-hmm.
But what is he singing over top of?
Yeah.
I don't like this. It's giving me more expensive RuPaul's Drag Race when they get to the point where they all have to sing a cover of a RuPaul song.
Yeah,
It's that, but not as cheap.
Yeah, that comes through definitely.
Yeah. And let's see here.
Unique elements.
Everything.
It kind of sounds like Toy, a little bit.
It sounds like you threw everything in, including the kitchen sink.
Including the kitchen sink, and including like your lease on the place and everything.
Yeah. Here, you can pay off the rest of my rent for this lease.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah, there we go. Georgios Papadopoulos says, too many cooks spoil the broth. Yes.
Thank you, Georgios. That is
too many
actually
cooks.
The perfect way to look at that, yeah.
I don't necessarily think, because too many cooks usually refers to too many people working with something. Mm-hmm. But in this case, too many ingredients, you don't get something to shine. You don't get something that's going to shine. Like my sister, she's a great cook, but sometimes she puts too many spices in when she cooks. Mm-hmm. I'm not anti-spice or anti-seasoning. I'm just saying sometimes...
Not everything complements each other.
Exactly. Like when you're making a chicken soup, making chicken noodle soup, what do you need to put into it? You have your mirepoix, which is your, onions, carrot, celery. I don't put celery in my soup because I think celery is gross. I don't like the texture of it. Right? You brown those off. You add your additional ingredients. You put in like your chicken stock, or your, depending on how you make your chicken, you put in your chicken stock at that point. Your chicken, And then as far as seasonings go, a little salt, a lot of black pepper is how I like mine, and some celery salt. Celery salt makes something taste like chicken soup. You don't need to add the rosemary. You don't need to add the garlic. You don't need to add the poultry spice blend.
Yeah, you need the flavor of the celery.
Yeah, you don't need everything in it. And I feel like that's the problem with this. It's like everything is in here. It's like, I don't know, how about I add in some tarragon? How about I add in, I don't even know if tarragon, I've never put tarragon in chicken soup. Let me add in like 6 bay leaves. You know, like you're adding in a lot of stuff when you just want a good, simple chicken noodle soup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like, the song isn't begging to be simple per se, but it is at one point, and you just didn't listen.
It's like you can have something that's complex with a lot of flavors in it, but like have those flavors have a point.
Yeah, exactly. There are limits to this.
Or like when you're wearing perfume. If you're somebody like me, I like to layer my fragrances. I don't wear just one perfume. I'll wear like 2 or 3. But I gotta layer them right, or else you come out smelling like a hot mess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, and it's just like there's a lot happening that doesn't need to be going on.
Doesn't make sense at all. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's move on to. Oh, I'm sorry. We have other things here we need to talk about. Would you stream it?
No, and would it qualify? I still say no to that too.
I don't think it's going to qualify either. I think there's something about this that just people are not going to be able to latch onto. Oh, and the other one is going to be performed well live. We already said yes, and he was great last night. I'm not going to lie, and that's the first time I think we've heard the revamp live.
That was my favorite performance of it so far, I guess.
Yeah, but the song is just not there.
It doesn't give me anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and talk about Ukraine.
Yes.
So, let's talk about Ukraine. Ukraine is bringing us Kalush Orchestra with the song Stefania. And do you want to talk about lyrical content?
Yeah, so you guys, I read on Twitter somewhere that the song Stefania has kind of become a rallying cry for the Ukrainian troops as they occupy their land back from the Russian military, and I kind of see why. This is a song about just respecting and loving your mother for like who she is and all the ways that she cares for you. Like, you could see that as like an analogy to the homeland. You could see that as Kalush's personal relationship with his mother. Either way, this is a love song. Despite what anything and anyone says, this is a song about love. This is a song about melancholy, even about like saudade in a way.
Yeah.
It's so, but like it's so complex but so simple. It's really hard to like accurately describe what the lyrics did to me, but I was absolutely captured by the lyrics. And I think it's gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. It's some of my favorite lyrics of the entire lineup.
So I'm looking at the lyrics right now. I do think this has some decent lyrical content. There's a lot of repetition, but it's about a mood. And it's one of those things where if you look at the lyrics and what they're about versus what the song sounds like, there's not a great marriage, but it works because it's unexpected. Again, like you said, it's a love song. We have to remember, love isn't just romantic love. Love is familiar. Love is parental. Like, love is, platonic. And it's nice to see a love song that's parental, not necessarily a love song about a romantic partner. And I think that that's a unique element that's interesting that, again, we don't really get a lot of. Like, there's a line in the song about, she was rocking me as a baby. She gave me rhythm. I like that idea because it's like you're now a musician and a rapper. So your mother is the one like rocking you to sleep at night is what's giving you your sense of rhythm.
It's a line like that where you could tell Kalush is like a real rapper, in my opinion.
Yeah. And there's also like, getting your willpower from your mother, calling your mother. There's allusions to there's biblical allusion and work with. She knew more than King Solomon. So that's like him saying she's very wise. There's like a lot, and then there's stuff that I think makes things stand out more given the current situation with Ukraine, which are things like, I always find my way home even if all roads are destroyed. And she wouldn't wake me up even if there's a storm outside. So it's about that protection of a mother where you're wanting to make sure your children get home safe and you're guiding them back to you, along with wanting to protect them from bad things in the world. So I do think that with this song, there is a lot of like love for his mother lyrically speaking, and I do like to see that here in the work. I'm just reading comments. Aaron G says Ukraine's song would place in any other year around 15-ish, but it will place higher with which I find unfair. I disagree.
I disagree.
Because here's the thing. I kind of like, when we got the songs for Vidbeer, my first thought was, oh, Ukraine's going to qualify. Ukraine's keeping the 100% qualification record. Is this... I don't think this is going to win. I think anyone saying this is going to win is delusional, let's be honest. But I think it's enjoyable, and I think it's a song that's going to come in the top 10. Ukraine consistently hangs out in the top 10 as it is. And this song has like a... now, kind of popping into like talking about production and stuff like that. The production on here is solid. There's a lot happening in the track, and it's mixing genres, but it feels like everything happening in the track is there for a reason. Nothing feels superfluous. And that's a direct contrast with what we were talking about with Israel, where, like, in here, like, on stage, I will totally acknowledge Alicia telling me about the hype man in the background being distracting and the bucket hat. But, like, other than that, like, I totally get what's happening here. It's like mixing hip-hop, it's mixing traditional elements in a way that still works, and there's good transitions between different parts. So like you come in and you hit that at the end of the verse, when we then head into the chorus, which is more traditional, we transition with the da 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 da, and then pop in with the chorus, which is just straight up traditional, mostly with hip-hop elements in the background, and like there's some DJ scratching I think on the track as well. So I think there's a good mixture of
it's balanced though. It's very
and it makes sense. It's not like it's all tossed in there just to be tossed in there. It's like everything is in there with its purpose and it with its place.
Yeah, exactly. So going off of what you said, Ukraine and Israel are very similar in that there's a lot going on, but Ukraine is at least able to balance it very, very well. Like, they understand that a lot of these elements typically would not go well together, and also kind of like with the tempo that it's at, but it works so incredibly well. And the commenter, the reason why I disagree with you is because personally, I think Europe is going in a direction where rap and that kind of art style is being more accepted in shows like this. I feel like this is kind of one of the directions that the contest is going in. And that on top of the fact that, like, this is a reliable Ukrainian jam. If you know anything, like, take a look at Go Away, take a look at Shady Lady. Like, back your Ukraine knows how to put together a really solid bop that is relevant to the time and that sounds fresh. And so for that reason, I do think it's going to have top 10. But yeah, there are definitely going to be people who look at Ukraine and try to give it more favor because of the situation, but I don't think that's going to be the driving reason why it's in the top 10.
Exactly. I think what it is that the song itself is quality enough to make it to the top 10. Like Sarah Hawkins from the Eurovision Fams here. Ukraine will place top 10. Agreed. Like, I feel like at this point, Ukraine's like the country at Eurovision that I can trust the most. It used to be Norway. Norway used to be my country. That was like, I trust Norway. But Norway has been messing me up since, like, they've been tricking me. And I have to take back how I feel about Norway more recently. But yeah, like, Ukraine, I think, is consistently one of the ones that's, like, up there. And I can't see this. I cannot see this. Like I said, I think if you think it's winning, you're delusional. Straight up. It's not going to happen. But I see this coming top 10.
Yes, me too.
I would see it coming top 10 any year since, like, 20... No, because it was, like, earlier on. Like, if it was, like, earlier part of the 2010s and earlier, this would not qualify. But given how we are and where the contest is heading, any year since, like, 2017, I would see this qualifying.
I would say 2018, but yes, pretty much same premise.
Yeah. Next question is, can it be performed live? Came through national final, so yes.
Yeah.
Would you stream it?
And, like, it's hard, too. Like, those bars are long and they're fast. So, Kalush, and I don't know if anyone here in the chat has ever attempted rapping before. I tried to be a rapper at one point. It is not easy.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I forgot when you were trying to be a rapper.
Trust me, I try to forget about it all the time. But it's hard to keep up with verses. It's just as hard as singing, if not harder, depending on the tempo of the song. Kalush executes it perfectly, and the singers, they're finding their rhythm more, and you could tell that just because of how much more solid every performance they've had subsequently has become better. So, yeah, insanely good.
Yeah, and do we stream it? Yes.
Every
Yes,
time.
I do.
Every time.
I seek it out, in fact. It's on my main
Yeah,
playlist of the
same.
year. It's like my main
Mhm.
2022 playlist.
Same.
And then, oh, last will qualify. Yes. Yes.
It's one of the most certain qualifiers of the entire lineup, I think.
Yeah, this one's qualifying. In no way is it not.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm confident in its qualification. Let's go ahead and let's talk about France.
Yay, let's dance with Satan. That's the
Honestly,
lyrics.
I love it. That literally there are lines like that. So,
Yeah.
the song is Fulenn by Alvan and Ahez. It is in Breton. So this is like our first Eurovision ever without a single word of French. Can you believe
I
it?
love the pre-Christian
Yeah.
sound we're getting from Gaul, from Bretagne. Like this is like archaic France, you guys, and I am absolutely here for it. I
Pre-Roman
love
conquest.
lyrical content. I love the lyrical content so much.
Pre-Roman conquest. Because I was
Yeah.
about to say a stupid sentence in Latin, but I'm not going to. Have you ever read the Gaul? I spent a lot of time taking Latin, so I did have to read the Gallic Wars written by Julius Caesar.
Oh. Ugh.
Yeah, would not recommend, but there is a chapter where I think he was high on his balls. Like, he was high writing that chapter. Because it talks about, like, unicorns that have palm trees coming out of their heads and have no knee joints. It's really weird. It's the best part about the Gallic
Is
Wars.
out there too, so yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. I'm sorry, kind of going off on that tangent there. So let's talk about lyrical content from our friends in France. All right, I got some highlighted lines. So, in the darkness of the woods germinates the night. Gorgeous, because germination's like the beginning of when the seed starts to grow, is your germination section. So, as the night begins to grow, great lyrical work there. The stars appear, restless rustle. A feminine shadow twirls in the light of a torch. So that's giving us very much throwback, ancient-y sort of vibes there. It's like we've got a lady out in the woods in the middle of the night alone. And if you know if you're like me and you know your witch trials, there's some lines in here about, ignoring the wild beast I dance. I steal the fire from their gaze full of lust. And I turn it into a song to sing in unison. She dances with the devil, so what? So again, if you're into like your witch trial stuff, women getting accused of dancing naked in the woods with Satan to make a pact. It's all in that vibe. We're getting that witchiness there.
Yeah, I feel like you're listening to a legend, like what a prophecy. Like it almost feels like a prophecy.
It's the prophecy of this woman who's out in the woods dancing at night by herself. And like I love how like it takes that male gaze with the line of I steal the fire from their gaze full of lust, and it turns it into an empowerment moment rather than a moment of feeling weak. And like it's like empowerment rather than taking that and kind of going self inwards and being less confident, which I do enjoy there.
Yeah, you go outward with it. The song goes outward.
Yeah, like the whole thing is like very much that. Lines about like fearless in the middle of the forest, clearing the spark is dancing. Raging souls twirl and twirl around her. Fearless in the middle of the forest, clearing the spark is dancing. Like that just sounds like straight up. I don't know how to say it other than like I feel like this is a witchy woman out there, If this was modern day, she'd have a lot of scarves and be dressed like Stevie Nicks. It's that kind of a thing, but it's like ancient. It's like a medieval take on that.
Yeah. This is very shamanistic. It feels like a shamanic anthem for the true, like, ancient inhabitants of this province of France. And we have never gotten a song like this from France, you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, the song it makes me think of the most, and production-wise, and also kind of the whole vibe, is Shum. from last year's Ukrainian song Shum. Because again, Shum was tying into that pre-Christian ritual. Like, if you don't know, Shum is a Ukrainian pagan spirit as well. And so when spring comes, there's a dance you do where you I can do it, like I know the dance from growing up with Ukrainian relatives. But basically it's like a welcoming of spring sort of a thing. And it's coming in with that it's a pagan ritual that you now made an electronic song out of. This here is similar. It's like you're taking that thought of like a woman dancing in the woods, communing with spirits, and you're tying that into an electronic dance song now. So I would say that that's probably what it reminds me of the most. And I know Alvan, I watched an interview and Alvan said his usual genre he listens to is metal music, and I totally get that here. Like
that makes sense. That makes sense,
right?
Wow.
Yeah, he's a metalhead.
He does eyeliner. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, like it makes sense. And like with the ladies, Ahez, they've been singing traditional Brayton music. You know, that's kind of how they met at school, learning the language, and you get that there as well. So it's a good marriage of what the two artists would bring. So you have the ladies of Ahez and you have Alvan. It's like a good marriage of what you would expect them to do together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
even transcends that. It even goes beyond that. This is very experimental, you guys. Like it's I don't even remember the exact thing that I'm looking for, but it's just so and it's enjoyable in a way that you wouldn't expect this kind of a thing from France. Like you said, this is something that we would typically expect from Ukraine or a country that would be very more bop forward, which I don't associate with France. Like that is not a characteristic I would describe as French.
And I honestly am happy they went this direction, especially last year was aggressively French. I love Voila.
The Frenchest thing I've witnessed in my entire life.
I love Voila to pieces, but it is very, very, very French. It's my mom's second husband is a French chef, so most of his friends are from France, and oh my gosh, I can hear this in the second dining room when I'm doing wait service playing. That's how I felt about Voila. With this, I'm not getting that at all. This is you could tell me this is from anywhere besides France. I believe you.
France doesn't exist yet.
Exactly. This is that's why we're not getting French at Eurovision, because this is pre-France. This is pre-France.
I love it.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so happy. I love getting languages that you don't often hear too at Eurovision. This is the second time.
Unique elements. That is one of the most unique elements ever. The last time we heard this language at Eurovision was 96, was it? 25 years ago maybe?
96. So this is the second time, and this is the first time since 96, when a lot of people who watch Eurovision weren't born yet, let's be honest.
Including me.
Oh my gosh, I always forget how young you were. You know what was happening in 96?
Okay, you were 6 years old, whereabouts, or 5-ish?
I was 5-ish.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was at school during Eurovision. Probably. Wow. No, actually I would have been home by then, because I would have been in kindergarten. So this is back when I used to go to German immersion kindergarten. It's my day was in German instead of English.
I love that.
Yeah, fun. I don't know. I remember, I have memories from that year still. So now, do we think it can be performed? Do we think it will? Can it be performed live? Yes, it came through a national.
I have a couple notes.
Same.
My answer is yes. My answer, big picture things, is yes. But it faces the same challenges that Terra by Tanchugueiras does, and that it's it can be a bit crowded when everyone's at the front.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that being one critique, and another thing, it's just are we gonna give Alvan some choreography, or are we just gonna let him flail?
He's flailing between 3 different instruments. It's too much. Give him just let him stand there with his drum, and that's it. He just needs the drum. I don't need him going from the drum to the guitar to the ukulele. He's playing with a fucking ignore I just cussed. Going to playing ukulele with a bow, a instrumentation.
Yeah,
bow.
the string that. I've never seen that kind of a thing in my life. Like, I've never seen anyone do that with the ukulele. But he's doing that. Goes over to the drums, goes back to the mic, and but like in between then he's literally just like tossing the top of his body back and forth, and it's just like, boy.
I don't know what to say. Like, give it some fire. We need fire. We need dark staging. The styling is excellent. Everyone looks so good.
I love like the neon like radioactive green. Like I think that looks so good, especially with the fire and like the design concept is really nice, but it's just like the crowd feels so fronted, but like crowded, and like he's just like going.
And hey,
I love it, but I'm alarmed still.
Fun fact about the color green: it is associated with the devil. Green was the color associated with the devil before it was red.
Fun.
Yeah, sorry.
No, all good. That makes sense actually. It's great in context.
Yeah, so like the green works, but the clothing is great. Like the pants that they all have on are so thick and so wide. Some of my
favorite costuming of the
like with the pants, it kind of works between being a masculine and a feminine silhouette because the pants kind of look like a skirt at certain points, and you know what I mean. So I do like that bit of styling, and it ties in with that kind of like witchy, judgmental vibes from the people who aren't into your witchy moods so much, and I think that really works. I just think that there's one point where the camera kind of goes like kind of like an earthquake. I don't like that. I can't watch that. Remember, I get migraines, so that's like one of those things that can trigger a migraine for me. It's like, oh gosh, no. I was like, I can't watch that. I have to kind of turn away at that point. It like sound wise, it can be performed well. I need that staging cleaned up though, because right now the staging is very messy. And I know last night there were people talking about the vocal at Israel Callings. At Israel Calling, here's the thing. One of them was missing. One of the girls from Ahez wasn't there. Number 2. So, that was like, I think Alvan was singing her part at some points. And it's just like, if you're not singing the part you're used to singing, it's going to kind of drag down your confidence with what you can do. Also, with last night, I
think their ears were out of sync or something.
Not even that. I think it's like the fact they had one person missing. Also, it's the only time we've had them perform it bad live.
Yeah, that was really the only time. And it wasn't for really a reason that we would have anticipated.
Yeah, it's like you have one person missing. Every other time you guys have performed it as a complete group, it sounds good. So, like, I saw people criticizing that vocal. I'm like, I'm not going to criticize it because as far as I'm concerned, one person wasn't there, so you're singing a part you're not used to singing. And it's the only time you've sounded bad. So,
yeah, I'm not worried about them. Like in the grand picture of things, I'm not worried about them. It probably is the fact that they didn't have a complete act.
Yeah.
Which is why it wasn't like 100%.
And then do we stream this? Of course.
Yeah.
If I haven't gushed about it enough, of course. And left or right side, because this is pre-qualifiers. This is one of our big 5s. I'm saying top left. I can see this coming top 10.
Yeah, I see it coming top 10 too. I will even go so far as to say it'll land somewhere around 8th.
I think this could still win.
Really?
I think this could still win. I don't know. Okay. I think that it can still possibly win if the juries do not completely tank it. But I fear that the juries will completely tank it at the same time. Like, this could be our televote winner. I see a path for this being the televote winner.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So we'll see. Like, if this came like 5th with the juries and did really, really well with the televote, I see that as like a place for it to be the winner of the overall contest. Getting 5th with the juries is going to be the challenge. But this is one of the ones that I still can see having a possibility of taking the crown. But France, even if you don't win, you're still on a good trajectory and you're still going to come top 10.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like y'all are headed in a great direction. Just because it's not like the voila moment doesn't necessarily mean that like y'all don't have a lot of power in your back pocket. And even France C'est vous qui décidez still illustrates that. Like France has a lot of artists that are on the up and rise that would do really great at Eurovision. We can't say that same thing about like all the other big 5 countries. Like France has years and years worth of potential under their belt.
Yeah, France is one of those ones where we're thinking, looking at where that's going to be at and what it's going to be doing, it makes sense. So let's go ahead. I'm going to just update our rankings on stream here real quick. So let me switch over to my other one. Screen share. Just enjoy my Photoshop background. here. So from semifinal 1, do we have any songs? Armenia is one of the ones from semi 1. And you said you think that one's going to qualify.
I said yes. I'm going to go ahead and get behind that one.
Okay. And I agree with that statement. And Ukraine is also in semifinal 1. And
they're definitely making it.
If Ukraine doesn't qualify, I'd be absolutely shocked.
Then something would really, really, really have to be wrong.
Recount the votes. Something went wrong here. Something went super wrong there. And then we're going to go ahead and go to semi 2. In semi 2, we both think Georgia has a pathway. And guess what that means? Like, at this point, Georgia is our 9th qualifier in semi 2.
Georgia's the 9th qualifier? Wow. We have to finish this list. How are we going to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I feel like there's some other stuff I have to move around because, like, at this point, I'm starting to regret my choices for a couple of these. I think we're going to qualify. I don't think we're going to qualify yet.
Honestly, me too. We're probably going to be shopping this, like, as, like, the streams go on and we just feel differently about the ways that we saw what we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm okay with removing Ireland and Czech Republic from my certain qualifiers. Even though I really want them in the final.
Yeah.
I'm taking those two. I'm getting rid of those two right now. Sorry. If you go back and watch our old video, you'll see kind of there's some changes happening. So you're going to remove Czech Republic and Ireland too?
I will remove Czech Republic. I'm holding out for Brooke.
Okay. So I'm going to remove the Czech Republic. I think we're like pretty well synced up on semi 2. Semi 1 we have more differences. And then we both agree that France is going to be coming in the left-hand side of the board. So France joins the UK with you on that left side. And France is the first of the big 5 countries I think is certain that we've talked about so far that I think is going to definitely make it to that left-hand side too.
Yes.
Okay. And just going to go ahead and switch over to our regular view. All right. So that was the stream this week. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, hold on. There we go. So that was the stream this week. We, talked about some countries. We also went ahead and went into American Song Contest stuff. Do not forget that if you're going to be in Turin, we do have the Eurovision Fam bar crawl. Link in the description box below. Also, there's the Eurovision Fam Family Dinner, link in the description box below. That one is going to be that Wednesday between the 2 semis, so you don't have a ticket to the jury final, you can go ahead and go to the family dinner instead.
Yep. Really hope to see you guys there. And also, I almost forgot to mention this. We here at the site, I have compiled a ranking of all of us who had voted to kind of see who everyone at Eurovision Fam thinks is going to be qualifying from semi 1 and 2. And also we have an order of the big 5 to kind of just see where everyone's preferences lie. So stay tuned on the site, stay tuned on the YouTube channel, and on our TikTok and our socials on Twitter to get notified for when I go ahead and put that out, because we have some pretty surprising results, you guys. You'd be surprised at what us at the site, our opinions have provided. So we'll see that.
So thank you all so much again for joining us. We'll be back next week. Next week shouldn't be as loaded. We'll only have one pre-party to talk about. We've still got American Song Contest, and we're going to be talking about 7 songs. I can't remember which pot we're doing next week, but we're doing one of them.
One of them, yep.
And guys, it's heating up. Like, we're getting closer and closer to Eurovision. So thank you
so much. A month. Yep.
Thank you so much again for joining us. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and bye-bye.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye. Oh, wait, no, I'm still loading. Shoot.